In the beginning was a word, but what happens when that word signals the end of everything? Can gold truly stand in for someone's soul in a battle for pride? Honestly, I feel regret. I should have kept my mouth shut. Life isn't exactly going great right now. But then again, is it ever easy for anyone? Everyone's just hanging on, clutching their jobs like lifeline same. As I cling to my seat, they say, I never turn down a ride. Funny thing is fewer folks are hailing cabs. These days you hear these stories about caves getting caught up in bizarre situations. I think half of them are made up, or maybe I just don't catch the punchline. My passengers are usually pretty ordinary moms with kids heading to the clinic, shoppers way down with bags from the mall, or late at night tired of piling in after crunching numbers all day. Seems like most people would rather sleep off their drinks right where they've had them than bother calling a cab anymore. But there was this one ride on a Monday that stuck with me. It came through as a request from the airport. Normally, airport runs are solid, they're predictable, and pay well. But this one, the destination, was a secluded cottage community way out of town. What was I supposed to do? Turn it down? So I accepted the fare. When I arrived, my passenger, man in his 40s, got in. He had this serious air about him, but not in a grim way. His face carried a neat layer of stubble, not from laziness, but from a fresh haircut. His short ginger hair was tidy, and his dark knee length coat paired with a scarf gave him this aristocratic edge, yet his eyes were open and kind as smile. So genuine it felt like a warm handshake instantly. I liked the guy. He seemed grounded. Hey there, he greeted, settling into the back seat, evening mind, putting on some music. Haven't heard any of our local tunes in ages. Care to fill me in on what's trending? I got you, I replied, not entirely sure why I was play along, but I did great. Oh, by the way, I'm Eugene, he said with a grin. Nice to meet you. Eugene, I'm Harry, I replied, sensing this was going to be one of those chatty rides. And yep, he kept the conversation rolling all the way to the destination. He started gazing out the window with a touch of nostalgia. You don't realize how much your native language means to you until you're far from home. He paused and chuckled softly. And it's not my first rodeo. Either this is my 6th trip abroad, and I still haven't gotten used to it, but hey, it's all worth it. I brought gifts for my wife. That's life, right? You work hard, you save up, and then you start all over again. I spent years day and night working to buy us a house. And I did it too, but then my business collapsed, and I had to start from scratch. My wife, though she's a gem, beautiful inside. And now we've been together 2 years now, and all she's ever wanted is a proper wedding, with the dress that does the whole fairy tale thing. And I'm going to make it happen this time. It's for real. He sighed, his voice softening. I sacrificed so much for her. Do you have any idea what it's like to be away from the person you love for months? At a time, it's brutal. But no matter what, this week, I'm staying with her. I'm not letting go, not even for a second. As he spoke, I couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. Here was a man overflowing with dreams and determination, someone who radiated sincerity. He'd spent half his life battling setbacks and putting his heart into building the perfect life for his wife. And now, even with financial troubles and job stress, he was ready to spend his last dime just to make her happy. That's devotion. That's love. It's an unstoppable drive to keep going no matter the odds. Eugene left an impression on me, a big one. His energy, his optimism, his ability to find joy in the middle of life's mess. It was remarkable. Finally, we entered a cottage village. Eugene leaned forward to show me the way. Turn right here and stop at the second house, he said. I told him, I think I know this house. I recently stayed with him. Then, after gathering his things, my passenger turned back. The thanks for coming out here so quickly. Most drivers avoid this place, or they charge a fortune. I can't blame them. Really, coming here means driving back with an empty cab. But hey, that's their problem, not mine. Right anyway, have a good one. And with that, Eugene stepped out, leaving behind the faint warmth of his laughter and the memory of someone who lived life with his whole heart. Sure enough, not long after, I found myself entangled in a situation I hadn't anticipated all. Because of my careless comment. You know how they say a small action can have massive consequences. Well, turns out that tiny comet was a pebble that started a landslide. Eugene, who had already opened the door to step out, paused. He hesitated for a moment, then slid back into a seat, shutting the door with a soft thud. His cheerful demeanor started to slip place by a flicker of doubt. Wait a second, he said, feigning a casual tone that didn't quite hide his nerves. Did you really pick someone up from this house? I hesitated, realizing too late that I had opened Pandora's box. Yeah, but it was just a young guy. I muttered, hoping to downplay it. His brow furrowed, and he leaned forward, trying to appear indifferent, though his voice betrayed him. Young guy? There shouldn't be any young guys. They're only my wife stays home when I'm away working. He paused, his eyes narrowing slightly. Do you happen to Remember what he looked like, the knot in my stomach tightened. I wanted to rewind the conversation, take back what I'd said, but there was no escape. Lie would only make things worse. So awkwardly I described the guy, the height, hair, color, his style, his demeanor. Eugene listened intently, asking a few follow-up questions. It was obvious he was putting the pieces together even before I finished, and that's when I saw at the moment his world collapsed. His eyes glistened, though he blinked away the tears. Before they could fall, smiling tightly, he whispered almost to himself, "He was her ex." Well, okay, then he forced a half-hearted smile in my direction, thanked me politely, and got out of the car. I watched as he started walking toward the house, his brisk pace faltering with each step. Finally, he stopped midway, standing motionless, his hands shoved deep in his coat pockets. For a while, he just stood there staring at the ground before slowly trudging on. The lively, enthusiastic man I picked up earlier, the one with dreams of surprising his beloved, was gone, and it stung. Even as I drove away from that quiet cottage village, his image lingered in my mind. My words had changed everything. I hadn't meant to hurt him, but guilt weighed heavy on me all the same. After all no one had told me to keep my mouth shut, I pulled into the city and stopped at a gas station to clear my head of coffee, and a sandwich seemed like a good idea. Sitting on my bike, I sipped my drink and let my thoughts wander. Life wasn't fair. Was it? Eugene's heartbreak nodded me. He seemed like a good man who didn't deserve this. Just as I finished my sandwich, my phone buzzed with another request, the address same cottage. As before, to my surprise, it came with a generous tip for the previous ride. Without hesitation, I fired up the engine and headed back, curiosity bubbling inside me. What awaited me this time? When I arrived, I didn't see Eugene at first. Instead, said a young woman in her early 20s stood outside, two large suitcases at her feet. Her hood barely covered her messy hair, strands poking out in every direction. One gloved hand clutched her coat tightly, while the other glove was nowhere to be seen. She looked frantic, disheveled, and undeniably upset. Without a word, I loaded her suitcases into the trunk. She climbed into the car, wiping at her tear-streaked face. "Take me to the city center," she snapped, her voice sharp and trembling. Clearly, she wasn't in the mood for small talk. As I glanced back at the house, I spotted Eugene. He stood at the window, his hands gripping the sill, as if it were the only thing holding him up. He looked drained, pale, and utterly defeated. And yet, as our eyes met, he gave me a slow, almost imperceptible nod. It was a silent, expression of gratitude, though it weighed heavy with sorrow. The drive back was quiet, save for the girl's heavy sighs. She stared out the window, lost in thought, her eyes red and swollen. It didn't take much to piece together her story. She found herself a kind, mature man who bent over backward to make her happy. And yet somewhere along the way she grown restless. She'd invited her ex into their home, shattering the trust Eugene had poured into their relationship. This wasn't the one-time thing either. It was clear they'd been meeting behind his back for a while, and now her bags told the rest of the story. When we reached the city center, she got out without a word, leaving me with the weight of the situation. I drove off quickly, not wanting to linger in the aftermath of what had just unfolded. Looking back, I can't help but wonder, was I an unwitting catalyst, or something more? My careless words had unraveled man's love, crushed his dreams, and derailed his plans. And yet in some strange, twisted way I had opened his eyes. Maybe I was his guardian angel revealing the truth, or maybe I was just an accidental devil sowing chaos. Without meaning to, either way, I couldn't shake the feeling that nothing would ever be the same for Eugene or again for me. So guys, if you all liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.